Welcome to the deep dive. Pause for a moment and think about how much of your day, your morning coffee, the apps you use, maybe even public health messages, how much is shaped by what we often just call ads or selling. It's kind of everywhere, isn't it?
It really is. And it's much more sophisticated than just a billboard. It's an intricate dance, really. Understanding needs, creating connections.
Exactly, and that's what we're peeling back today. Strategic marketing. It's
Yeah.
way broader, deeper, and honestly just more fascinating than simple sales tactics.
hmm
Our goal here, our mission for this deep dive, is to give you a real shortcut, to get you well informed about marketing's strategic power, maybe uncover some surprising stuff,
Yeah, there are definitely some myths to bust.
and offer insights that'll genuinely change how you see, well, every exchange around you. Buying, voting, volunteering, you name it.
And for this, we've basically distilled the core ideas, the really potent insights from a key text on strategic marketing. We're trying to get beyond just definitions and see how it actually works and what its impact really means for you.
Okay, let's dive in then. When we talk about marketing, yeah, most people think selling stuff,
Mm.
convincing someone to buy. But this source material, it gives a much more comprehensive definition.
It does. It talks about marketing as the process of creating, distributing, promoting, and pricing goods, services, and ideas.
Right, ideas too. And the goal is to facilitate these satisfying exchange relationships with customers.
And this is key, also developing relationships with stakeholders in this constantly changing dynamic environment.
So what's really different there compared to the common view? The creating part or the stakeholders?
I think it's both, plus the emphasis on value. The American Marketing Association echoes this. They define it as activities and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value.
Value for customers, clients, partners.
And society at large, that's a big one. So it's not just pushing a product, it's about creating mutual value, building relationships that go way beyond just the buyer. It's a two-way street, really.
A two-way street.
Okay.
So it's about these exchanges where both sides benefit. Both expect to get something valuable back, which immediately makes you think, who's at the absolute center of all this?
Yeah, no question. The customer. They are the focal point. Always. They're the ones buying the products or services that companies develop, promote, distribute, price.
And while we might think customers is a huge group, good marketing focuses, right?
Exactly. Successful organizations zero in on a specific group, their target market.
Yeah.
And this group it could be huge, like everyone with a smartphone.
Or tiny.
Or really niche, yeah, like
Right.
collectors of vintage typewriters. And it's funny, historically, a lot of companies started by just making something and then trying to find people to buy it.
Right, product first.
Product first. The shift to starting with the customer, understanding their needs first. That's fundamental now. We'll touch on that evolution later, but it really highlights this customer focus.
That is a profound shift. Okay, so you've got your target market identified. How do marketers actually do the marketing? What are the tools in their toolkit?
Okay, so that brings us to the famous marketing mix, often called the 4 Ps.
The 4 Ps, right? Product, place, no, distribution.
Distribution, yeah, often called place. Then promotion and price. These are the variables marketers can, theoretically, control. They adjust these levers to satisfy that target market and create the exchange.
Gotcha. Let's break those down. Start with product. Sounds simple, but you mentioned it's more than just a physical thing.
Way more. So product starts with researching customer needs, yeah. Then designing something to satisfy them. But that something could be a physical good you hold,
Like a phone.
like a phone. Or it could be an intangible service thinking, streaming music, or getting legal advice. And importantly, it can even be an idea, a concept, a philosophy, maybe a campaign for a social cause.
Okay.
And beyond the core thing itself, product also includes the brand name, the packaging, warranties, repair services, all that stuff wraps around the core offering. Strategically, this is where you build your difference, your value.
Makes sense. So you've got this great product, service, or idea. Now, how do you get it to the people who want it? That's distribution or place.
Correct. Distribution is all about making the product available in the right quantities, at the right time, in the right place for your target customers.
So logistics, basically.
It's more than just shipping, though. It's optimizing the whole network. You're trying to minimize costs, inventory, transport, storage, while making sure it's actually there when someone wants to buy it.
Right.
This links straight into supply chain management, which is managing that whole flow, getting resources, production, logistics, getting it onto the shelf or website. Think about Amazon. A huge part of their success is brilliant supply chain strategy.
Absolutely. Okay,
Mhm.
product is designed, it's available. Now you need to tell people about it, generate interest. That's promotion. And you said earlier, it's not just ads,
Definitely not just ads. Promotion is about informing, persuading, reminding people about the organization and its products. Advertising is one tool, sure.
like TV commercials,
Yeah.
online banners.
Right. But promotion also includes personal selling, face-to-face interactions, sales promotions like discounts or contests, and publicity or PR, managing the narrative, getting media coverage.
Right.
And the goals vary hugely. You might be educating customers about a new feature, urging them to support a cause, or just keeping an established brand top of mind to build loyalty. It's about crafting the right message for the right audience through the right channel.
Okay, that makes sense. So the last P, price. Seems obvious, maybe the most straightforward, but I'm guessing it's strategically complex.
Oh, it absolutely is. Price involves setting objectives, policies, and then actually determining the price. It's critical because customers constantly weigh the price against the perceived benefits. It's a direct part of that value calculation.
You need a competitive weapon.
A powerful one, yes. But risky, too. If everyone just competes on price, margins get squeezed, products become commodities, it can be a race to the bottom. The real strategic thinking in pricing is about understanding how customers perceive value, not just your own costs. And, importantly, remember these 4 Ps while controllable by the marketer.
Operate in the real world.
Exactly. They operate within that dynamic environment, competitors, the economy, laws, technology, culture. All these external forces limit what you can do and shape how customers react.
That's a perfect lead into talking more about value and building relationships. You said value isn't just the price, it's subjective.
Totally subjective. Value is the customer's own assessment of the benefits they get versus the costs they incur. You can almost think of it like an equation. Customer value, customer benefits, customer costs.
And costs aren't just money, right?
Not at all. Costs include the time spent researching, the effort to go to a store or navigate a website, maybe the psychological friction of switching from a brand they know. It's everything you give up. And because perceptions differ, clever use of the marketing mix, especially promotion, added services, unique features, can really boost that perceived value. It's about tilting that benefit-cost balance in your favor, in the customer's mind.
So if value is central, this takes us back to exchange. We touched on it. But what conditions must exist for a real marketing exchange? And
Oh.
there's surprising examples.
Okay, yeah, 4 specific conditions need to be met. 1, you need 2 or more parties, each having something the other values.
Okay.
2, the exchange has to provide benefit or satisfaction to both sides. It's got to be mutually beneficial.
Win-win.
Win-win. 3, each party has to trust the promise of value from the other. Confidence is key. And 4, to build that trust long-term, both sides have to meet expectations.
Right.
And it's not just buying things. Think about volunteering. You exchange your time and effort.
For the feeling of helping, contributing to the community.
Exactly, that's value. Or non-monetary trades, swapping old books for a store coupon, bringing canned food for entry to an event. Marketing is happening there too.
That really broadens the picture. And it's not just about the customer relationship either, is it? You mentioned stakeholders. Why is managing those relationships so vital?
Crucial. Stakeholders are anyone with a stake, a claim, or interest in what the company does. Employees, investors, suppliers, government bodies, the local community, even competitors sometimes,
Why manage them all?
because they all impact the business. Unhappy employees hurt your brand and service. A supplier problem shuts down production. New regulations change your whole market. Ignoring any of these is risky. So marketing has to think about managing all these vital connections. They all feed into the company's overall value and reputation.
Okay, and for customers specifically, there's this term, customer relationship management, CRM.
Hmm?
What's the ultimate aim of CRM beyond just like tracking emails?
The core goal of CRM is using customer information systematically to build strategies that develop and sustain profitable customer relationships. It's about maximizing the lifetime value of each customer.
How do you do that?
It usually involves 3 things. Acquiring new customers, sure, but also enhancing the profitability of the ones you have.
Getting them to buy more or more often.
Right, deepening their engagement. And third, extending how long they stay a customer. Think about Zappos. They famously built their whole brand around exceptional customer service, which is a cornerstone of CRM.
Right.
It wasn't just about selling shoes. It was about building loyalty through amazing interactions.
That makes total sense. And this connects to relationship marketing. Which sounds like exactly what it says, building long-term bonds.
It is. Relationship marketing is about establishing these long-term, mutually beneficial arrangements. Both the buyer and the seller are focused on enhancing value for each other over the long haul.
How does that work in practice?
It builds trust, deepens the company's understanding of what customers actually need, and it often relies heavily on good data marketing research, tracking interactions through information technology. The goal isn't just the next sale, it's creating sustained loyalty and, ultimately, better long-term profits. And today, with digital tools, you can personalize relationships almost one-on-one, making relationship marketing much more scalable.
This is where it gets really strategic for businesses aiming for that long-term success. Customer lifetime value, CLV. What does focusing on CLV mean for strategy?
Okay, so CLV involves looking at buying patterns to figure out who your most promising, most profitable customers are likely to be over time. It predicts the total net value profit or loss you can expect from your entire future relationship with a customer.
So it's like forecasting future income from that person.
Exactly. It's treated almost like an intangible asset. A loyal customer who buys repeatedly and tells their friends about you. That's a predictable future revenue stream you can actually invest in retaining, built on satisfaction and trust.
And focusing on high CLV customers pays off.
Generally, yes. Marketers focusing on customers selected for their high potential CLV tend to generate higher profits down the line. It shifts the focus from just making a single sale to capturing a larger share of that customer's wallet across all your products or services over years.
So it's what they buy and what they say and how long they stick around. Which brings us to that fascinating fact, the rule of 66.
Yeah, the rule of 66. It's a stark reminder of how powerful word of mouth is, especially negative word of mouth. The research suggests, on average, one bad customer experience gets told to about 11 people.
Okay.
And those 11 people then tell around 5 more people each. So one bad interaction can ripple out to potentially 66 people hearing about it.
Wow. That's exponential negativity.
It really underscores why companies like, say, JetBlue or Nike are so active on social media, monitoring mentions, responding quickly to complaints. They know that fixing a problem fast isn't just good service. It's essential for protecting their brand, maintaining loyalty, and preserving that future CLV. Even for huge companies, managing those individual experiences matters immensely.
That's a huge ripple effect.
Yeah.
And a great point about strategic response.
But
Okay, so we've covered the marketer's toolkit, the focus on customers and value, but you said marketing doesn't happen in a bubble, right? How do these strategies interact with the real world?
Right, not in a vacuum at all. Marketing happens within this incredibly dynamic environment. We're talking about those uncontrollable factors, competition, the economy, politics, laws and regulations, technology, sociocultural trends. All these forces swirl around the customer and impact every part of the marketing mix,
And they're always changing.
constantly shifting, often unpredictably.
So how do these outside forces actually affect what marketers can do?
They impact marketers in sort of 3 main ways. First, they fundamentally shape customer lifestyles, what they can afford, what they want and need. Think about an economic downturn or a new social trend. Second, they determine if and how marketers can even do certain things, new privacy laws, for instance, or a disruptive technology emerging. And third, they influence how buyers react to the marketing mix. A political climate might make certain messages resonate or fall flat. So while these forces create a lot of uncertainty,
They also create opportunities.
exactly, for marketers who are alert, who anticipate changes instead of just reacting, these shifts can open up significant opportunities.
This brings us to the marketing concept. You described it as a guiding philosophy.
It is, fundamentally. The marketing concept is a management philosophy that says an organization should aim to satisfy customer needs
Okay.
through a coordinated set of activities across the entire organization.
Not just the marketing department.
Right, the whole company working together. And doing this should also allow the organization to achieve its own goals, usually long-term profits. Customer satisfaction is the absolute core focus. It means you have to understand your customers, understand your competitors, and integrate all your resources to deliver value and satisfaction.
So it's not another definition of marketing.
No, it's the philosophy behind effective marketing. It starts with the customer and ends with the customer.
Was it always this way? Did marketing always start with the customer?
Oh, definitely not. Marketing thinking has evolved quite a bit. The earliest stage was really the production orientation, think Industrial Revolution. Demand was huge, products were scarce.
So the focus was just make stuff.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Make it efficiently, make it available. If you built it, they would generally come because there wasn't much
But
choice.
then things got more competitive.
Exactly. Which led to the sales orientation, mostly in the early 20th century. Competition heated up. Businesses realized sales were key to profit. So marketing became about pushing the product, aggressive selling, advertising, distribution, persuading people to buy what you'd already decided to make.
Kind of forcing it on them.
A bit, yeah. But then came a crucial shift around the 1950s, leading to the market orientation. What changed?
What was the big realization?
The big realization was, wait, maybe we should figure out what people want first and then make it, instead of making stuff and trying to convince people they want it.
Sounds obvious now, but revolutionary then.
It was. A true market orientation means the entire organization gets involved in generating intelligence about current and future customer needs, sharing that information widely across departments.
So R&D knows what sales is hearing.
Exactly. And then the whole organization has to be responsive to that intelligence. It means constantly listening and adapting to what the market, what customers are telling you.
That's a massive mindset shift.
Mm.
And we see examples where not having that orientation hurts, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned Chinese brands trying to enter the U.S. market.
Yeah, that's a really insightful example from the source. Many Chinese brands historically struggled in the U.S., partly because they came with a strong manufacturing or maybe sales orientation, but not a market orientation.
Focused on low cost.
Focused heavily on low cost, often without effectively communicating the quality, the specific features, or the overall value that American consumers were looking for in that category. This led to perceptions, often negative, about quality or suitability.
And perception is hard to change.
Incredibly hard. Once consumers form an opinion, especially a negative one based on perceived value, throwing advertising dollars at it often isn't enough. You need to understand the cultural context, the specific needs and value drivers in that market. It shows why that market intelligence is so vital.
So really adopting this marketing concept isn't trivial. It takes work, maybe even changing how the company is structured.
Absolutely. You need systems to gather that customer information. You need real coordination between departments, R&D, production, finance, logistics, marketing, sales. Everyone needs to be aligned around satisfying those customer needs. It means being adaptable, looking ahead, anticipating shifts, not just reacting after the fact.
Okay. And speaking of broader considerations, what about socially responsible marketing? How does that fit in?
That's increasingly important. Socially responsible marketing is about promoting the welfare of customers and stakeholders. It means building trust, fostering cooperation, recognizing that long-term success often depends on ethical behavior and considering the broader impact of your actions.
Like environmental impact.
Exactly. Green marketing is a big part of this, strategically creating long-term customer relationships while also maintaining or enhancing the natural environment. It's about aligning marketing goals with societal well-being.
Is there a good example that's working well? Like really integrating it?
C.1 shoes is a fantastic example mentioned in the material. Their whole one-for-one model.
Buy a pair, give a pair.
Right. It
Yeah.
was brilliant. They offered a fashionable product that people wanted, but buying it also created direct social good, helping someone in need. It perfectly blended product value with social value, and they promoted this ethos, like with their One Day Without Shoes campaign, raising awareness. They built their entire brand around purpose, and it resonated deeply. It shows how for-profit goals and social good can actually reinforce each other.
That's powerful. Okay, so zooming out one last time.
Mm.
What's the really big picture, the overall importance of marketing in society beyond just business?
Well, it's huge and maybe surprising in scale. Economically, did you know marketing costs often eat up about half of what a buyer pays for something?
Wait, half. 50%.
Roughly half, yeah. When you factor in everything, research, product development, branding, distribution, advertising, sales, it adds up, which really underlines why understanding marketing is so crucial. It's a massive part of our economy.
That is staggering. And it's not just for companies making profits, right?
Not at all. Marketing is essential for nonprofits, too. Government agencies use it for public health campaigns. Charities use it to raise funds and awareness. They all need to create, distribute, promote, and sometimes price their offerings, even if the price is a donation or volunteering time, to achieve their societal goals.
And for businesses, it's just survival.
Survival, growth, generating the profits that drive the economy, create jobs. Absolutely vital.
And on a global scale.
Marketing is what fuels a lot of the global economy. Think about technology connecting markets, trade barriers falling. Marketing facilitates those international exchanges driven by that universal desire for, a better standard of living. It connects cultures and economies.
So beyond the economy, how does knowing about marketing help us, just as everyday people, as consumers?
It makes you a smarter consumer. Understanding how marketing works helps you evaluate claims, compare offerings, recognize persuasive techniques. Essentially, it helps you maximize the value you get from your purchases and interactions.
And we see what happens when companies mess up their marketing mix from a consumer perspective.
Oh, yeah. Think about the huge backlash against Turing Pharmaceuticals when they jacked up the price of Daraprim, or the initial uproar when Diet Pepsi changed its sweetener, or Coca-Cola's legendary New Coke fiasco.
Right. People were outraged.
Exactly. Those weren't just PR blunders. They were fundamental misjudgments about customer value, expectations, and trust. They show how deeply marketing decisions about product and price impact consumers and how carefully they need to be considered.
Powerful examples. And technology now. It's changed everything, hasn't it?
Yeah. Fundamentally, the internet, the social media, it allows marketers to reach and interact with people on a scale and with a level of personalization that was impossible before. It enables those direct customer relationships we talked about, real-time feedback. It's also empowered consumers with more information than ever.
So wrapping up,
Yeah.
if someone is thinking about a career or just wants to understand the world better, learning about marketing seems pretty valuable.
Incredibly valuable. Marketing roles are often quite secure because businesses always need people who understand customers and can manage those relationships effectively. And the skills analysis, communication, strategic thinking, they're transferable to almost any field.
Wow, what a journey through strategic marketing. We started by seeing it's so much more than just ads. We dug into the marketer's toolkit, the four-piece,
Product, distribution, promotion, price.
and how they're used to create subjective value.
Mhm.
We talked about building relationships, not just with customers, but all stakeholders, and the importance of CRM and customer lifetime value.
Mm.
That rule of 66 is sticking with me.
Mm-hmm. The power of word of mouth.
Then we looked at how marketing exists in this dynamic environment, shaped by outside forces, and how the guiding philosophy evolved from just making stuff to truly focusing on the market, on the customer.
But production, sales, and market orientations, yeah. And the importance of social responsibility, like the 2MS example.
And finally, we really saw its massive impact, that half the cost figure, its role in nonprofits, the global economy, and crucially, how understanding it makes us better consumers.
It really is far more than just the ads we see. It's this fundamental social and economic process woven into, well, pretty much everything. It shapes our choices, our experiences, even our society's direction.
So the big question for you listening is, what does this all mean for you? Now that you understand a bit more about this strategic power of marketing, how does that empower you? As a consumer, maybe as an employee, or just as a curious person navigating the world, how can you better evaluate, maybe even influence, the exchanges happening all around you? Keep an eye out today. You'll definitely start noticing it more.